Hey everyone, hope you're having an awesome Friday. Vintage Poke Openings back here with another video, and I want to share something special with you folks. I actually just received a 20 card PSA submission back that had been there for about 4 months or so. It's just a collection of some of the pulls I've had on this channel. I've been trying to get all of my cards of value graded through PSA. I have another 38 card submission full of all first edition common and uncommon Wizards of the Coast cards that's going to be coming back here in a couple months, but I wanted to show you what they returned to me. There's some pretty cool cards in here that you might remember seeing pulled on the channel. So here I have this PSA 8 first edition holographic Brock. I pulled this out of a, obviously, first edition Gym Heroes booster pack about a year ago on the channel. Very, very, very cool card. A little bit of whitening on the corners, but otherwise very pretty card. I was hoping to get a 9 on this since it was pack fresh, but that just goes to show you, just because you have a pack fresh card doesn't even mean it's necessarily going to get a 9. Sure as heck isn't going to get a 10 unless it's in really great condition. Now here's one of the Psa Tens from this submission. It's a first edition Blaine's Growlithe, actually also from that same pack that I pulled that Brock. This is one of the better common cards in the set. One of the coolest Growlithe artworks in my opinion, and so I wanted to have it graded. I want to say it's worth in the realm of $75 to $100 in a 10. Got the flames closing in on him. I think it's just such a cool card. Here's another one of the PSA 10s. We've got a Holographic Typhlosion from the Neo Genesis Premium file. This was kind of like the promotional packet that I opened that had the 3 starter Pokemon from the second generation of Pokemon. There's the Holo Typhlosion. This one got a 10, and I'm a little bit surprised. I mean, I guess the centering is pretty good on the front. Yeah, I guess it is pretty good. I mean, it's definitely at least a 9, but I've had cards in really nice condition not get 10s, and that one to me just kind of seems pedestrian. Here's a base set Pikachu. I believe I pulled this out of the Zap theme deck that I opened not too long ago. That was about a year ago as well. So yeah, pretty much perfect centering, bold, dark blue borders, no whitening. Always cool to have a base set PSA 10 Pikachu. And of course, that's the yellow cheeks Pikachu, not the red, which is the more valuable of the two. I also have this PSA 9 holographic dark Arbok from a Team Rocket theme deck that I opened, I believe, gosh, this might have been 2 summers ago now at this point. No, that was last summer, excuse me. I've been doing this channel for 2 years now, about a little over 2 years, and this was definitely a last summer pull. This is also in really nice shape, other than really just the centering. I don't know what else this would have gotten knocked for. It's not one of the more popular holographics from Team Rocket, but I actually really like the artwork. I think it's cool. It really emphasizes that sinister eyes and smile on Arbok that you don't really, I feel like, pay attention to much. Here's a holographic Brock's Rhydon. This is from the Gym Heroes set, and I pulled this from a theme deck 2 summers ago when I first started the channel. I didn't have it graded initially because the centering was so poor, but it ended up getting a 9 because really, other than the centering, it's a really nicely conditioned card. You can see the centering's pretty bad on the back. A little bit of whitening up at the top right-hand corner. There, you can kind of see it. So they could have maybe even given this an 8 if they wanted to, but it's not a very valuable card either way. I think even in a 10, it's not worth too much. So going along with that Neo Genesis Premium file that we saw the Typhlosion from earlier, we also have our holographic for Alligator. This one wasn't as generous in terms of the grading and only got a 9. You can see the centering is a little skewed in the back, but still a very cool artwork. I love the blue colors on this card. This was a first edition card from one of the Team Rocket packs I bought from TCA Gaming about a year and a half ago. I'd been wanting to get the commons and uncommons graded in the pack for quite a while, and I finally got around to it. So this is a first edition Dark Dragonair, one of the best uncommons in the set and one of the coolest artworks, but unfortunately it only got the 9, probably because the centering is a little bit off. A little bit of whitening, I suppose, as well. Moving along to the next card, we have a PSA 9 first edition Charmander, also from that same pack. In this one, I've got a little bit of a gripe with. Looking at the centering on the front, I think that it is just about perfect. And looking at the back, you could make the argument that it's slightly off center. But you know what, actually, it's hard to see in the video, but you can kind of see there the top part of the card is a little chewed up. Like it wasn't cut very cleanly from the sheet almost. Maybe that's why it got a 9, but I had that graded because really any of the first generation starter Pokemon are pretty valuable in a PSA 10, really in any set that they're from. Now this one, you might wonder why I was getting super energy retrieval graded. This was really just out of necessity. This was from a Neo Genesis first edition pack that my girlfriend had purchased and decided to open after about a year of buying. She paid a lot of money for it. I think it was in the realm of $400, and it was just a total dud of a pack. It clearly was light. It didn't have any holos, and all of the commons and uncommons were not very useful. But super energy retrieval was the rare. I went ahead and had it graded, got a PSA 9. Probably because of centering once again. I don't really see much whitening, and obviously there's no holofoil to worry about here, so. Going along with that same first edition Team Rocket pack, I had the common Abra graded. This was another one I really thought was going to get a 10. I mean, the centering on the front is really nice. I guess maybe there's a little bit of whitening on the back end, but the centering is good too. I mean, a lot of these 9s have just one minor flaw. Now this one right here, this Holo Lapras, they only gave me a 7 on, which I was shocked because I pulled this right out of a theme deck. Not only did it not get a 10, it didn't get a 9 or an 8, it got a 7. And the only thing I can imagine is if you get it in just the right lighting, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get it for you guys. There are some print lines. You might be able to see some of them. Anyway, outside of that, the centering is solid. Definitely like PSA 9 or 8 centering. And the backside's not bad either. We also have this beautiful holographic Vaporeon that got a 9. This one I expected to have a 9 because there is a print line on it. Once again, I don't know if I'll be able to get it in the light. You can kind of see it on the top there. There is a definitive print line, but the centering is beautiful on both the front and the back. This has got to be one of my favorite cards in all of the Wizards of the Coast. It's just a beautiful evolution, as all of them are. And you might remember from one of my previous videos, we pulled a no symbol Vaporeon from a jungle pack once. Very cool. This is another Machamp actually that I had graded, and this one's unique in that I only had it graded because I thought it had the chance of getting an off-center designation, which what that means is it'll say OC up here as off-center. I mean, this is pretty skewed. Like if you look at the top left and the top center borders, they're so much thinner than the others. But needless to say, they did not give me the off-center designation, so it's just a standard PSA 8 Machamp. Nothing really special with that, but this is another one of those cards that I've always loved the artwork. These cards come dime a dozen. I mean, you can get them anywhere, but like I just think it's such a cool Machamp artwork. We also have a holographic Muck from the Fossil set. I pulled this from a theme deck probably a year or so ago, and this is one of those cards I'm not crazy about, but I thought it did have a chance of getting a 10. I mean, the centering's beautiful. No print lines from what I can see. Yeah, that's just a shame. I think that should have been a 10. I don't see any whitening. The centering looks great. I mean, unless... maybe there's a print line up top there. It's hard to tell because with some of the Galaxy holofoils, which is the holo that they used for the base set, Jungle, and Fossil, there's like these lines in the holofoil, but they're not print lines. It's like part of the holo pattern, and it's very hard to differentiate the holo pattern from the print lines. That's why I prefer the Cosmos holofoil, but also it's just prettier in general, so... And the last holo from that Neo Premium file I was talking about earlier is the Meganium. Got a PSA 9 because of the centering, but look at, oh my, it's just such a beautiful artwork. The holofoil is so crisp. The Japanese cards do not disappoint. As you can see, the centering on the back is pretty bad. We also have a PSA 10 First Edition Dratini. This comes from that Team Rocket pack I was telling you about I had graded. And Dratini is one of my favorite Pokemon from the original 151. I had a PSA 10 Dratini graded from the base set earlier on in this channel if you've watched any of my grading videos. So we're 2 for 2 on Dratinis so far. So if there's any Dratini fans out there, shoot me an email if you're interested in purchasing this card. I might consider parting with it for the right offer. Getting down to the final 3 cards here. We've got a holographic Venomoth from the Jungle set. I paid for a heavy Jungle booster pack from TCA Gaming. I want to say maybe this last winter it was, and I was hoping for a Pidgeot since that's my favorite card from the set, but I got this Venomoth instead. Not one of my favorite holos from Jungle, but it is a holo. Second to last, we actually have a Yu-Gi-Oh card, one of the more popular Yu-Gi-Oh cards, Dark Magician Girl. And this is not the OG Dark Magician Girl. This is from a special edition theme deck for Rise of Destiny that I opened on the channel. Actually, excuse me, no, this one's from my childhood. The one I opened on the channel, I think, had the Vampire Genesis card. But I had this graded just because it is a very popular Yu-Gi-Oh card. And considering it's from my childhood and it got a PSA 9, I'll take that grade all day. And last but not least, we have our base set Mewtwo that we pulled from a Zap theme deck a few videos ago. Centering was pretty poor, so it ended up with a PSA 8. May have been some print lines in there as well, but I love those base set holos. Anytime you can come across one of those, you got to take the opportunity. So thanks for tuning into today's video. I hope to produce some more content here in the near future. I know I haven't been quite as productive this summer, but a lot has been going on. So I hope you enjoyed today's video, and I appreciate your continuing support of the channel, and I hope to talk to you guys soon.